After everything Karen had pulled, parties, forged deeds, trespassing, and attempted assaults, I thought my land was finally safe, but apparently, she and the HOA had one last catastrophic plan in mind. While I was away on a short business trip, I got a frantic call from my ranch manager. The HOA had illegally started constructing 30 homes right on my inherited land. Apparently, they assumed that because I hadn't been present, the property was available for their grand expansion project. Bulldozers were tearing through fields that had been in my family for generations. Survey stakes littered the pasture, and construction crews were setting up foundation forms while Karen strutted around wearing a hard hat that was at least 2 sizes too small. I nearly choked on the phone when my manager explained that the HOA had even painted community homes, coming soon, signs along my boundary lines, directly on my property. I immediately booked a flight back, mentally preparing for the confrontation. But even in my head, I was picturing Karen tripping over a power cord and getting stuck in wet cement for dramatic flair. When I arrived, it was even worse than I imagined. Bulldozers scooping up topsoil, trucks dumping gravel, and HOA board members snapping photos like they were posting to Instagram. Karen spotted me and waved cheerfully, clearly expecting me to compliment her on improving the neighborhood. I calmly approached, hands in my pockets, and said, "Interesting architecture you're building. Shame it's on my land." Her smile faltered. "Oh, we have permits," she blurted. I asked to see them. She stammered, then muttered something about community easements and handed over a set of papers that, upon inspection, were for someone else's property entirely. Basically, fantasy land paperwork. I sigh and point to the survey stakes, the bulldozers, and the workers. "You're illegally trespassing and destroying private property. Stop immediately." Karen tries to argue, saying the HOA owns development rights. I laugh and remind her that she doesn't own an inch of my family's land. By now, a few workers are starting to look nervous, sensing the tension. I calmly pull out my phone and call the sheriff, giving them a full report of illegal construction, trespassing, and property destruction. Within an hour, law enforcement arrives and halts the project. Karen tries her usual screaming routine, insisting she's following community laws. But the officers simply read her the county statutes and ask, "Do you have written consent from the landowner?" Karen freezes. She doesn't. The bulldozers sit idle, and the construction crews start packing up, muttering apologies and avoiding eye contact. The HOA board members quietly file out, leaving Karen red-faced and muttering about technicalities and loopholes. Over the next week, I file multiple lawsuits. One for trespassing, one for illegal land development, and one for intentional property damage. The HOA ends up paying millions in fines, compensation, and legal fees. I also hire a survey crew to remark all boundaries clearly, install a new high-security fence, and add 24/7 surveillance cameras, motion sensors, and warning signs along the property line. Karen and the HOA are officially banned from entering my land, and any attempt to build or trespass again carries the risk of immediate arrest. Every time she drives past, she slows down, peers through her windshield, and mutters under her breath, clearly calculating some new, doomed strategy, while I sip coffee on the porch, watching my goats and cattle roam peacefully. I even take a small measure of joy in the fact that the construction signs were left behind, half buried in mud, spelling out "community homes, coming soon," as a reminder of Karen's spectacular failure. The entire neighborhood now knows that attempting to build on my inherited land without permission is not only illegal but a guaranteed disaster. Life returns to normal on the ranch, with the cows grazing, the goats screaming at clouds, and me finally feeling the peace of knowing that no HOA, no matter how delusional, can ever override decades of property law and family ownership. Karen, of course, files some kind of passive-aggressive HOA newsletter about unfair enforcement. But by now everyone ignores her, and the lesson is clear. Trespass, destroy, or build without permission, and you will pay. Legally, financially, and humiliatingly. My ranch, my rules, my land, and now my HOA nemesis has finally learned that legacy property isn't a playground for entitled bureaucrats.